Okay, let's have a look at some of the highlights. And there were some highlights of this game, weren't there?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. Really lifted the spirit now. This fella has a huge year, like really, really good year with Dublin. I think as well, when you go back to your point there, just one thing I forgot to say was Brian Ryan going off for Na Fianna, I think was a big moment, whether that was a substitution or whether it was an injury. Like, I thought he was having a really big game, and I was very surprised to see him getting taken off. This direct run on Stacey, down the centre, smart. And I like this, brave. Easiest thing to do at the start of the game, tap it over the bar. Colin, bang, back of the net.
That's a great point you make there, actually, because with Na Fianna, we talked about the players they do have. What we don't know is at what level of fitness they're at. So both of these two teams are kind of finding their way in the championship, and they could well meet again.
Yeah, a little bit of shadow boxing there, you'd imagine, because they've met and they'd know each other so well. Again, Burkey came in there, great score. Just didn't really see much of him in the second half. Wasn't as this fella, like, in fairness to Oisín, he pulled out all the stops today. Like, he really had some really big scores in the first half. Himself and Quaylon were probably the only two forwards you would say that were good in the first half. And then when it came down to the pivotal moment, again, it's Oisín who comes up with and Quaylon would have been a huge loss. So again, if you're the forwards, think about it. Crokes forwards, no Ronan Hayes, no Considine, no Whiteley, and no Quaylon Conway. 4 of your starting forwards. So to come out with a point today, I think it's a huge result for Crokes. And am I surprised? No. The quality of play was a step ahead of anything we've seen over the last couple of games.
It was exciting, wasn't it?
This fella's great.
Sean Curry, yeah.
Brave, running through, pops the ball off, and again, Colin, bang, Stacey. That's as good as you'd see anywhere. We're critical of our forwards for being too small at times, and I still think when you're brave and you're able to take your man on, I think going forward, we have players to work with.
Roach, he was a thorn in the Na Fianna side at times today. Not there, that was good work. Well, actually, he won the free there. But
he won the free, but you bring that back to the last clip, and again, Roach had a chance to shoot there. And maybe that'll come in time for him, but like, you're breaking through a little bit more and get the shot away with a good defending from Na Fianna.
Fantastic. That penalty wasn't actually a penalty. Sean Stack had a word with these umpires, something else happened, and the throw-in was given. Good refereeing, good officiating by the officiating team. Oisín O'Rourke.
And one thing you don't want, I think with Sean there as well, he did great as a referee. You don't want the referee to be the story of the game, and you're saying the same, like that was a great one you picked out with Oisín with one hand, but you don't want the referee to be the story of the game. It's the same as tomorrow. Like, you can see, obviously, like we said earlier, Chris Mooney's involved tomorrow from Dublin, Johnny Murphy in the middle of the field. You don't want the story tomorrow evening to be about a decision. You want it, and Sean let the game go today and pulled it when it needed to be, and there was a lot of real heavy hitting off the ball as well, which was great to see because it was real championship hurling, and it looked like the two teams really wanted to go at it.
Fair play to Chris Mooney, by the way. Best of luck to him tomorrow. A quality ref. Good fella as well.
Yeah.
Good finish.
Good finish by Gavin there. And one thing I liked about Gavin today, he was brave on the ball. He kind of gets, at times he can be criticised. This was a chance maybe Oisín should have come across.
Lucy just kind of flew in there, didn't he? He just made it really difficult. Oisín O'Rourke.
Rushy was right on the line with Chano there.
Yeah.
This fella, I love Hayes, what he's added to his game. I said this earlier. There was a couple of times maybe inter-county this year when you kind of go, add a little bit more to your end product, and he has worked on it, and he gets a little bit more time, obviously at club level, to do it. But you could show loads. I was really impressed with the standard of that towards, and now again, it wouldn't be hard based on what we saw last week wasn't of high quality, and maybe the first day out you allow that bit of grace to teams. Kenny, again, I think he's a huge future ahead of him in not only with Crokes but with Dublin as well.
He was lively, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Speaking of lively, Brian Ryan, what a score that was. And as you say, he went off in the second half. We don't know why, whether it was an injury or whatever, but a big loss. Roach, good man to take and turn.
Great man to turn on the ball. Like he seems like he has a real low centre of gravity, real close to hand ball, and then it's just the end product he needs to work on.
He picked up a yellow card early.
But he came on in the second half. Did way better. He did. Yeah, he did.
They took him out of that full back line, and it allowed him to kind of make an impact on the game.
Yeah, I think for me he's more of a 5 or 7 than a full back, but it's just too. I just think, especially when he was on he seemed to be really nervous after getting the yellow card that he was going to get into contact. Rush, I thought, was good for Na Fianna at times. Got caught a little bit thinking a bit too long maybe on some of the balls on occasions, but I just think Na Fianna will be like the huge wind there. Will either of them be massively disappointed? No, but I think Na Fianna will be more disappointed. This was huge from Jono. Like, this will be Jono's clip now for the next I don't know how long.
That he will clip himself.
Social
Management
media.
Won't need to clip this. He'll do it himself.
He's a great, a massive character, huge character. A lot of time for him. Really honest fella, and great fun as well. But he's a serious puck of a ball. Great score.
He did well when he came in.
He did, yeah, and
as did Wheatley.
Yeah, and some of the names that are popping up for Na Fianna are maybe names that we haven't heard over the last kind of 12, 24 months. But I think when it came down to it, Colin had a huge free here. They probably thought they'd won it. You know, Shane went through that time, possibly could have tapped the ball over the bar with that chance towards the end. Like, this was great here. Na Fianna thought they'd won, you know, came over to the side, you know.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought this was the ceiling score from Kavanagh.
And this was brave, like, you know, that's a big score to take on by Mark, you know, out on the sideline off his left-hand side. And then you the little magician then comes in at the end, and we questioned whether he'd have the